All right.
Oh, that we had to refresh? Cool.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? The music's not playing. Let me figure that out. How's everybody doing today? Good to see you. Welcome to Longshot RPG Season 3, Chapter 2 of Terraform, Episode 3. I'm going to have to think of a shorter way to intro all that information. Last we left off, the party rampaged through Fizbin's bed chambers and made a couple of silken garments out of his sheets. And Otto stole a silken pillow out of mostly spite.
I was naughty.
I'm Sir Feffers. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going into an interesting meeting with Drogar the Insatiable, the Council of Dragon's End, and a couple of other individuals that also have earned their place in the meetings. But for now, I'm going to pass it off to Jake. Tell me about your character a bit, and as well as make sure you tell me about yourself.
Thank you for passing that off as I shoved my face.
Oh, I'm sorry. I honestly was like, Dorky's typing, Jake.
As you passing, I'm like, don't say me. And it's like, he said me. I'm Critfail Jake. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram. Do mostly cosplay content there. I play Thranduin, the half-elf drow. He is a fighter warlock, and yeah, he's not really sure what to expect at this meeting, because for some reason this old cleric dragonborn is like, yeah, nothing's gonna happen, but we may have to fight like everyone, so like come on. We're like,
Right?
yeah,
And then there's going to be a rap battle. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, God.
and then when you're like, what do you think's gonna happen? Nothing, probably. So he's just like, sword is at his side, ready to go, but like, he's not really sure. Hopefully, nothing crazy happens, but it's our campaign. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
With that, I will pass it to George.
Excellent. Yay, I'm GoodGriefGeorge, and yeah, Fizbin, my Stormfather. He is, I don't know how to describe him right now, to be 100% honest with you. He he understands that like there's something that's gonna happen, or that there's a big meeting that he was invited to, but he doesn't still fully grasp what it is he is supposed to or what he can do in this instance. Because while he's sort of giving off this air of everything's fine, and he knows what's going on, and he knows how to handle this mercenary, and things are not going to go down. That's really sort of his cleric side, like trying to ease make everyone comfortable so that there's no like panic in the streets, because he has really no idea what he could possibly do. He kind of suspects that the people that sent him, Thorn, only sent him not necessarily because they think that it only requires him to handle Drogar, but more like maybe they're not necessarily taking this as seriously as they should. So which is why he has surrounded himself with the other, like the heroes, the people that he believes can have some kind of influence in the event that something happens. So that's where he's at. He's sort of tentative, while also at the same time full faith in the All-Father and or the Stormfather, and he doesn't think anything's going to go too out of whack. So that's where he's at, and he's looking forward to hearing how these legendary heroes work. And more than likely, he's going to be focusing a little bit on Brady today, because Brady is the person that is the bardic, persuasion-y kind of talkative person, and everyone seems to kind of like this individual. So he'll be focusing a little bit more on Brady today as well. Speaking of, go ahead, Dorky.
Hey guys, I'm that dorky cosplayer. As you can probably guess, I'm a cosplayer and I do mostly cosplay content. Wow, big surprise! I play Brady, the half-elf bard, and she is kind of not actually thinking too much of this meeting, if we're being honest. She's more so entertained by the new member, the new fawn, who's she's just entertained by seeing her reaction to coffee and sugar, and she thinks this is just great. She probably is going to be like secretly passing like little packets of like sugar cubes like throughout the time, just being like, here you go, you can't have a crash if you just keep going, go on, it's fine.
Oh God.
But yeah, she's just kind of like, she's like, woohoo, we're making clothes, we're like destroying some really nice silk sheets and making clothes, yeah, creative. Not really, like right now she's not thinking about all the bad that has happened and very well could happen. So yeah, that's her mindset at the moment. I'm going to actually pass it off to Taylor.
Hi, I'm Taylor and Tracy on everything. Just the only thing I can think about me is I'm an actress trying to work my way up in that career. So I play Terraform. She is a satyr druid. She has not had a lot of interaction with people, so she's definitely enjoying getting to be within all of these people and learn all these new things. Fun fact about her, coffee is definitely her new favorite drink. But she's just excited for this meeting to go on and to keep learning from these people. And I'll pass it off to Mr. Pillowsuit.
My brethren, welcome. Welcome to this wonderful live stream that we have today. I hope that you are doing well.
And with that, let's go.
Anything to say for Otto?
Nah.
Okay.
No, okay. Like,
Okay.
Otto is, I mean, he's got his pillow now, which is good. It's great. Like, I mean, he has a pillow.
Yeah. That's
and
step
he
one.
touched a bed. He touched a bed.
That's step two.
But on top of that, he's just kind of like, I mean, he is here mainly with Denki and Tara, just kind of trying to stay alive and make sure that this whole shenanigans with this new character that we got going on is not going to get us murdered, because that would be
what, there's
really
a new
bad.
person? They're probably going to murder
Well,
us.
Fizbane. Like,
yeah. What, Theros? Might murder us. Naked guy? I like naked guy, though. Naked guy.
I like
naked
naked
guy's
guy.
cool.
Denki for the win.
Denki
Yeah,
is the
so
exception.
he's here for the what seems like it's going to be a very like cryptic form of protection for him, because I think he's about to get us in a lot of trouble. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Switching over to the harbor. That's really loud. Let me fix that. There we go. So, a couple things to say right out the gate. One, oh, we lost her.
No, I'm here.
Lost her.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
Oh,
I'm
we
just
hear
cleaning my
change.
lens. Sorry.
One is that Brady recently discovered that one of the council members is a member of the Held Breath. That individual's name is Nutmeg. He is a halfling, and he his title in the council is Voice of the People. You also, at the behest of the Held Breath, while they were still under your thumb, you have become close with multiple individuals within the council. The party in their new silken regalia begins making their way through the town of Dragons and
One more time.
begins making their way through the town of Dragon's End. Did I dip out?
Okay. Yeah, you dipped out.
All right. Cool.
I love
as
how
you
you
guys.
said that so cautiously, like you were trying to see what he was hinting at.
Yeah, I
You
don't know.
said it
I don't know.
really slowly.
I'm just trying to, make sure that the audience can hear what the heck you said. All right.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. Anything you guys want to cover before going to the meeting proper? The bells of the town hall kind of ringing, meaning that you have a couple of minutes to do stuff. Anything you guys want to cover before you go into the council?
Sure, Tara will definitely ask. So, wait, what actually is a meeting?
So this is when like a bunch of people that think they're really important get together and have a conversation that they think the rest of us give a crap about.
So, are they actually really important, or do they just think that they're really important?
They just kind
of run the town. They kind of run the town.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
All right. Fizbin? Oh, go ahead, Brittany.
I was going to say, just as we're going to the meeting / in the meeting, I want to be looking out for whoever has a patchy black goatee.
Okay. Okay. The party makes their way into the council, the town hall. And a couple of people working there, obviously. You guys, one person kind of stops you guys. She's behind a desk, an elven lady, and she goes, "Yes, hello. Names and positions, please." And hands over like a piece of paper and and a pencil, or a quill, if you will, to kind of mark down your names. And you can see most of the council have already passed through, but not all of them signed in.
I will, Fizbin will sign in first, and hand it off to Brady. I would like to pay close attention to how, Brady signs. Because many of the names on here appear to have, if not all of them, appear to have full names, but Brady is the only last name he has not heard yet.
Okay. Would she have any, since she's kind of been in this area before, would she have any kind of title or something to put?
You don't have a title aside from as far as your surname, whatever it was that you were born with.
No, just like position is what I'm looking for.
No, not within the council or anything like that.
Then yeah, she's just going to put Brady and I don't know, like town hero or something.
Okay. As you guys begin filling in your names, a individual steps in that Brady knows, but the rest of you have not yet met. Her name is Pallian. She is a very tall, regal-bearing half-elf. And she's got her hair very, like, up. It's just in this massive beehive-esque assortment. Various bits of jewelry all kind of within it. Tight dress. Very long. Just with an air of nobility about herself. And she kind of takes in the room, sees the party, as Tara is trying to figure out how to do this whole thing with the whole name thing, putting it on, like signing in.
All she does is she just draws a picture of a flower and just.
Okay. The elven lady, the clerk, she goes, oh, that's nice. Hello. What's your name?
Terraphilia.
Tara, and she kind of like botches the last part, but she gets Tara down correctly. And she goes, okay, that's nice. You're nice. And Pallian slips her arm around the arm of Fizbin and kind of goes, well, It is an absolute honor to meet you, Mr. Fispin. Or should I say Lord Fispin?
Did you say high elf or half elf?
Half elf.
Half elf. Okay.
Yeah, this ain't gonna work.
He stiffens. Inquisitor Fizbin.
Oh, Inquisitor, thank you. I must say, you had quite the appearance. Quite the showman, aren't you? Forgive myself. I am Pelian Ventured. I am one of the council members, and I am of the Vanguard and the Hunt. My people are in charge of scoping out the island and gathering information.
Oh. It is a pleasure to meet you. When will this be starting?
Quite soon. Allow me to show you where to sit. And she kind of like begins drawing you into the council room.
Just wave at the others.
Bye.
The rest of the party kind of following in kind of hesitantly behind them. Most of the council has already begun seating. Knowing that you are not of the customs of the locals, she kind of begins pointing out to the room and kind of explaining the setup of the place to you. Lord Somber is actually, with his butt chin and pointy nose, is actually Chancellor and resides over the meeting itself. He will address people and tell people when to stand and give accounts and kind of keep the times and overall keep things moving along accordingly. He is currently arguing with Theros. And it seems like they're very quietly arguing with each other. The room is a round, seated with multi-layers kind of going upwards, but relatively tight. And so a single podium in the center of the room and kind of an open area with tiny little gates, the council members would get up and kind of walk out and around to go into the center when they might speak. At the various seats are the council members Lord Somber, Nutmeg, who is a portly halfling. And he is sitting with his cane across his lap, and he's kind of leaning back and listening to what another one of his entourage is telling him. Thank you, Pillowsuit. There we go.
Moon!
The moon has come!
So pretty.
That's rough, buddy. You are brought... Palion brings you to a seat with multiple empty chairs behind you where the rest of the party might be able to sit as well. This being prepared for you because you mentioned to Lord Somber that you were bringing people with you. You also know one of your, not servants, but one of your helpers that has come with you on the boat is already seated there waiting for you. His name is Tommy. He's a young man, very eager and devout to the Stormfather. His eyes kind of widen as the party enters in full silken regalia that matches your house and that of House Thorn. Also sitting kind of this hunched... He looks like he should be old, but you don't see any wrinkles on him. He's sitting there, and he's got this long scroll, and he's got some calculations he's working on, and it kind of just onto the over the railing and kind of a little bit into the room. And he is Venton, the keeper of coin. And finally, standing imposingly, is Skinna, captain of the guard. There are 3 more empty seats where the ambassador should be, and in the seat where the ambassador of House Toil ought to sit is Drogar, his feet kind of up on the railing, and he's just kind of sitting there just kind of just quietly smiling, but clearly just reading everyone in the room in an almost militaristic style. Just everyone walks in, you feel him like up, down. You guys take notes of your shoes, take notes of your weapons, and no one had to get rid of their weapons coming in, which says a lot. Finally, as you guys are all kind of getting your seat, and other, helpers and servants and employees kind of start filtering in and taking their seats behind their prospective council members, Hallel, the prince, brother to the queen of the Yuan-Ti, of the... help me, Jake.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is
Yuan-Ti?
Yuan-Ti, the snake folk.
Yuan-Ti.
Yeah. The Yuan-Ti Prince Hallel kind of strides in, hands on his rapier. It's just kind of looking around. He sees the party and goes, and then he kind of just strides through the open area in the center of the room and does a brief bow to Thranduin before addressing Brady and Otto, and says, "Hello, friends. It's been a minute. It is so good to see you once again."
Buddy, how's it been?
It's been well, not trapped in stone, which I gotta tell you, has just been the best thing. Really good for the health.
Especially if you have an itch on your nose.
Oh, and who are you? He looks over at Tara.
Hi, I'm Tara.
Hello, and it is very nice to meet you.
You too.
I've heard about you, Fispin. Or should I say Inquisitor Fispin? My apologies. There are so many new cultures I am learning of. For the longest time, I must say, all we had were the natives, those barbarians. And he kind of looks over at Tara and goes, those people, my apologies, on the surface. And now they have wells here. They have outhouses. It's marvelous. I'm learning so much. And I was told you are an inquisitor of a house. I'm not sure what that means, but it is a pleasure to meet you. I think we might be friends. Thranduin, I'm sure, would speak on my behalf. I'm an excellent sword.
He's just very... There's a lot of words just happening from this like princely but also like a reptile guy that I didn't have a lot of like interaction with. So
you said the dragonborn
kettle a little bit there.
He's seeing like the tiefling that he's never seen before hang out with the lizard that he's never really seen before, and it like is kind of It's a little mind-boggling right now.
You're getting some culture shock.
It's a culture shock, but yeah, he gave him the respect, and so he's just doing a lot of like.
I'm sorry, not everyone's blue.
He kind of he chooses not to sit at his reserve seat, where you can see his like guard of reptilian, armed fighters, kind of just like. As he goes and sits next to Brady. Say, where is that monk? Where did she go? I haven't seen her in a mortal age.
Oh man, she has her hands full with a lot of the children that came with us originally. So she's, I think she's supposed to be training them.
Oh.
Not sure what that means, but that's what I've heard.
Interesting. I would love to call upon her sometime.
Oh yeah, she's around. She's pretty busy. She bouncing around.
Interesting. Thank you. Feel free to talk. He of course includes the party in this. He goes, "Feel free to come to my estate anytime. I'm in the Underthing." And he kind of gets up and saunters away. Oh, speaking of, where's Naked Guy? Where's Danky?
He'd probably be right next to me.
Okay, so he's just gonna stand behind you.
Which the prince would never have seen him. Because he never went into the caves.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
So he just ignored him completely.
Yeah,
He was like, I don't know,
great.
another one
the
of these
biggest
humans.
thing here.
Yeah.
That's a little intimidating. I don't feel like addressing that right now. Just it's not there.
This is the way of politics.
Now you know why I brought him. Because I don't want to talk to people I don't know.
So he's just gonna kind of stand behind you, and just stay standing, kind of looking around, mildly confused, but he's here. All right, I think that's everyone.
I do want it noted that
Oh, and
as
Tariff.
they were,
Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say as they were entering and stuff, as it was appropriate, Brady would have been like saying hi and talking to
Okay.
the people she knew and just kind of like
Oh, we're
doing
gonna
that
have to roleplay
social
that.
butterfly.
Who are you trying to talk to?
Just as they're going by.
Okay, so just pleasantries, just little.
Yeah, because we haven't fully discussed who exactly Brady knows and is on good terms with, so I'm not sure who she would full on like want to have a full conversation with
Okay.
versus just being polite.
Well, you've had multiple lunches with Palian. Hallel, of course, you have known before. Skinner, the captain of the guard, you've never really talked to him. You've never been sent to Nutmeg, and now you know the reason why. He's actually a member of the Held Breath. And the Chancellor, Lord Somber, you, of course, have met before. Even Tariff, the Seeker, the High Monarch of the Church of the Path, as he walks in, you see him make eye contact with you and kind of nod his head a little bit. He is in splendid robes. And he looks almost out of place in this wooden building, with its candles and, just everyone's kind of in tough leathers. This is a frontier of kinds, and he he smells of incense, like multiple people kind of making way for him and stuff like that. He does not appear to be armed, and it doesn't seem like, aside from his 3 closest cronies, he mostly brought servants. All right, so everyone kind of sits, and you see him kind of fold his robes over his lap and kind of lean forward. And of course, there's just a circle of silence around Drogar as he continues to just kind of study everybody. Anything you guys want to cover before the meeting starts?
I think it's really funny to add that Tara would be watching Birdie say hi to everybody, and so she's gonna say the exact same thing to like every single person.
You're seen as
goes
an
by.
oddity, and sometimes someone like might kind of be like, hey, hi, don't know you, but for the most part, you're kind of ignored.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably as they walk away, she'll also give Tara like a really brief, like, oh, who we just met is so and so, and just like a really quick like synopsis as they're going through, just filling her in along the way.
Yeah, and then as far as Otto and Danky go, like I'm running our sign language with each other of like, all right, figuring out the exits. Because now we're in a room, like we're not out in the open.
Yeah. So let me tell you about the exits. There is there's one double door leading out from where you came, short hallway before you're out of the building. There are 3 more doors. The double doors being in the easternmost part of the room, and then it's a circular room. So the north, south, and west all have single doors. No windows, aside from what you can see high above you, where there is kind of this steeple that's kind of opened up. You can see the bell up there, and it's kind of exposed to the elements a bit. So it is possible if someone like you, who is quite nimble, to squeeze through that as well. But that is centered, so I wouldn't know how you'd get through that, but I would not be surprised if you could.
Just have Danky throw me.
Yeah, there you go.
How much of the sky can we see then?
You can see the light reflecting off of the bell.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like this thing goes up and down.
Yeah, think
in
of like a
that area.
teardrop shape. That's the room.
Yeah.
From where we're sitting, so where our group is, where is the nearest exit? Like
There
in terms
is
of
a
feet and
single
which
door.
exit?
You are all in the southern area. Across from you being the Chancellor's high podium. In the north. So yeah, right next to Denki, there's a single door, and he's gonna kind of take a peek through the door, and he closes it and goes, "More hall."
More hall.
Yeah.
But you didn't see anybody in it? Okay. All right. Just wanted to know, in case, Fizman decides to, make us work for that 10 gold coins that I asked for.
Okay. Collecting my thoughts. The Chancellor kind of looks up at the light reflected off the bell, trying to adjust to the time, and goes, pulls out his cane and kind of makes his way up to the podium. All right. Meeting in session. It is 10 a.m. in the month of the Thorn. We have gathered together to discuss what is most apparent to all of you here, the blockade and the accusations on behalf of, as accused by Drogar. The council recognizes Drogar. Drogar kind of stands up, kind of stretches a little bit, and kind of waves one of his lackeys at one of his lackeys, who kind of darts through one of the doors to the north, and goes, "Right, so," and he kind of glances over at Fizbin. "I like what you're trying to do. This is quite the thing. But I'm afraid that it's flawed. This whole democracy bit. What's to keep people from outvoting your Chancellor?" "That is exactly what happens sometimes." "So you don't get anything done, do you? You just kind of go on about your day arguing over things, getting pulled in every which direction. Nothing's ever going to get done. That's how you get conquered." "But there is no need for such a thing. Like me grandfather used to tell me." And then Venton, the keeper of coin, Just skip the quotes. You've been doing nothing but quoting your grandfather. I'm sick of it." And the Chancellor kind of glares at Venton. Continue. You realize that this is actually a very high-stress situation. And you're not sure why Drogar is playing these games. He didn't need to join. He didn't need to go into a council meeting. He has the show of force. He could invade at any given time, but he hasn't. On one part, that's Fizbin. An attack on Fizbin would be attack on House Thorn, and that would go poorly for his employers. But he's playing some kind of game here. He goes on to talk about his grandfather. And you realize after a little while, he's starting to get his story mixed up. You think he might just be quoting no one. You know, he's just making stuff up, trying to sound wise and making a few proverbs. But he goes, but all that is aside. So, bring him in. And you watch the ambassador of House Toil kind of walk into the room. His eyes are really wide. He looks skinnier, like leaner, and he's got a little bit of a limp. And he kind of walks into the room, like clutching a scroll. Come on! He kind of quickly moves forward. Go on then. He places it on the table. Yes. So. He kind of undoes the scroll. This is a human. In the year of 3070, my apologies. Kind of looks over at Drogar. The House Toil did discover the island, this island, and named it Sunton. Sunton Isle was quickly proclaimed by House Toil and was quickly abandoned because of the giants that rampaged and destroyed many of our boats. But because the giants are not recognized by the at the time the Lord Barst, the tyrant king, we House Toil lay claim to these lands, and has been in their possession ever since. The Chancellor.
Young man.
Chancellor goes, the council recognizes Inquisitor Fizbin.
He gets up, and there's just a look of concern on his face as he starts to head towards the ambassador. You don't look very well. Are you all right?
Oh, yes, I acquired an injury the other day. I have, and he kind of lifts his hauberk or whatever it is, and he's got this like splint, and his knee looks like actually like slipped. His knee looks just jacked. Clearly not. He didn't fall on it. This was clearly someone has been mistreating him.
Excellent. Oh, he looks over at the who brought him in?
Just some lackeys of House Toil.
Of House
Drogar's
Toil.
men.
Drogar's men. He'll be looking at them. You did not clean him up? You did not fix this wound before you had him come before the council? How dare you?
Point, Drogar. Sorry, Fizbin. Drogar says. I got ahead of myself there.
He'll look over at Drogar.
So the two of you on both sides of the table. Old enemies.
My point, Drogar, is that if you had two broken legs, you wouldn't want to have a conversation inside of a house either.
This man's an ambassador and has a duty to uphold. He's doing it. Be seated. And he looks over at the ambassador, who quickly just limps his way towards his seat that Drogar was sitting in, and just kind of, and he like clearly can't bend his leg. He just kind of tries not to be noticed.
He'll look over at Lord Samber. Allow us a little brief time so that I may heal his wounds. I know that many other clerics here may not be able to do so, but I have the power of the Stormfather, and I believe that I can heal him at least a little bit so that he may continue on without pain.
Secret Sheriff scoffs at this, and he's like, this is obviously ridiculous. He's buying time for something. This heretic and Lord Somber just, enough! I will allow it. Continue, Inquisitor. And everyone kind of watches as you kind of make your way over and prepare your magic.
I will cast some kind of healing. I'll cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
See how that goes.
Okay. You brandish your holy symbol. Say a prayer, and you watch as his knee just slips back into place, and you just see him go from like this tight, pained look to like, oh, thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. We may be of different houses, but clearly you have everyone's best intentions at hand. Drogar, silence. Enough of that. You watch a literal reaction around the room as you cast your healing magic. Nutmeg, Brittany, you watch Nutmeg kind of lean forward and kind of furrow his brows in confusion. Venton and Pallion both look like cock and eyebrow and kind of share a glance with each other. Somber kind of smiling a bit. Skinna, captain of the guard, is doing like a, that looks very useful. Doing a Tariff is just like heresy, you know. And Hillel, the prince of the snake folk, he's like peering around to take a better look at the knee and just like, all right, okay.
Excellent.
Drogar turns and goes, I don't care. Your fancy healing magic's very showman of you. It means nothing. The writing blind facts. He turns back to the Chancellor and begins addressing the council again, turning his back to you, Fizbin. The facts are the main. My employers own this land, and I am here to ensure that the town of Dragon's End swears fealty to House Toil, or will be ejected. Frankly, I'd settle for burnt to the ground, or, and as you know, everyone obviously has like reactions to this, and you know, they're like, fealty, come on. Tariff scoffing. He goes, or if you do bend the knee to House Toil, I will help you with your problems with the natives. I will help you excavate those dwarven ruins, of which I myself share a great interest with. And I will bring a force upon this land. I will bring it completely under our control. At the mention of such help, you know, the council kind of starts leaning back. The Chancellor, his brows like furrow, because obviously this would imply him losing power. What does the party do?
I call out to God, what's his name? There's so many TH names that you've given so far that I'm like,
Have I?
yeah, like I'm like, the Theros.
Theros?
No.
Oh.
Whoever the
so
dwarf
we've got,
is.
oh, Drogar.
Drogar. He's not even a TH name. Why did I say that? Anyways, but go down to Drogar, or you know, addressing it to Drogar. I'm just gonna shout to him. It's like, how much of the island have you
council
already?
recognizes Otto.
Thanks. How much? How much
That's
of
Otto Kane, thank you very much. Say his name properly.
My apologies. Continue, Otto
Thanks,
Kane.
Fizbin. How much of this island have you already excavated?
They all look at Palion. Palion goes, our scouts are mostly numbered throughout the middle mountainous regions, and we have taken this time to excavate along the giant resources. She looks over at at Hillel, and she goes, "The snake folk will not allow us access to their tunnels." And
But
so
you haven't
we have
seen
had
the
to
wild
risk.
yet, have you?
We have seen some. These forests.
But you don't know how
are
it works, do you?
dangerous. And she kind of.
See, here's the thing that you gotta know about this island. Everything wants to kill you. And me and my buddy here are probably two of the only people that know this island well enough to be able to go out there and survive it. Three of us. You really think that some of those scouts are going to come back alive? Or at all?
It isn't ever struggle, but moving in force has clearly not been the move. We have had to break into smaller groups, scout it out. We have to avoid all of these crazy beasts in the sky. We risk running into natives or giants. We have had to move slowly, and if it
comes down to a village that now knows what I know about this island.
Are
because
you offering your
I don't think that we really
Otto?
need your help.
Oh, you're talking to Drogar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fizbin will also look at Droga. Oh, I'm sorry. Have you not been introduced before to these people? You didn't invite them to the party, but here they are. This is Otto, one of the few legendary heroes of this town that slayed the dragon.
That thing with the pointy horns slayed a dragon. Must have been a wee thing.
It wasn't as difficult as you might think. Usually large brutes are fairly easy to take down, you would know.
That and also those in glass houses probably shouldn't throw stones about things that are little.
Brady is gonna just kind of like speak up like nicely.
Uh-huh.
And just be like, also, you must not have heard when he said it the first few times. His name is Otto. And just kind of like, not that thing, Otto.
I think Theros could validate that name. I'm just gonna kind of
Theros kind of looks around and goes, "Indeed. We named a few of those birds they used after him, if I'm to understand correctly. But Otto has been very efficient at bypassing some of the magical and archaic traps that I have been setting in my various homes.
I mean, mild inconveniences to me. And my big brother
Indeed. Here. Palian, the one of the council members who is in charge of kind of scouting out and learning of the region and kind of establishing growth of Dragon's End, she kind of leans forward. She goes, "Otto Kane, are you saying that you would help us? Because you've been gone for quite some time."
I'd say with the knowledge that
quite a bit.
I'd say with the knowledge that I know about this island, it doesn't matter if they brought 1,000 ships, because there would be no way that for them to overtake it once I familiarize our people with my strategies.
Interesting. You see her like start writing notes. Assumedly Otto strategies.
He's got strats. Got it.
About how much of the
This is go ahead.
About how much of the island have we discovered from both our map from our travels as well as their scouting? If you had a rough percentage.
If I had a rough percentage, you guys have covered more than they have ever been able to cover. Mostly because you're just running through your lives through the entire island. I would say the entire southern half of the island you have a firm grip on. And then Terra, being from the northern half of the island, on the far side, it would not. And then Otto spending half a year exploring the ins and outs.
Like pretty much finding the web of caves that Theros has just been posting all over this place.
Right. You guys have a pretty firm grip on all but the northeastern region. That is heavily native. Yeah.
So this whole thing is basically an intimidation to Dragnar.
Drogar.
For D, assuming Fizbin is backseated with us, right? He's not still. Is he near us?
I don't know, Fizbin, where are you?
I haven't moved since I got up to heal the
on
guy.
the center table.
I've just been kind of like, I did there, and I turned around. I've just been watching the.
Okay.
So he's
How many
actually more like
scouts?
actually just staring at Drogar the whole time with them talking behind me, like.
How many scouts have they thrown out into the land?
Are you asking?
Yeah. How many scouts have you put out there? If you gave a estimate.
I'd rather not say. Insight check. We have been
That's
working
not good.
quite
It'd be
hard.
good. Oh, well, that's not great for me, but that's an 18.
18? Okay, she's lying. She knows exactly
Yeah.
how many it is. And seeing you, the Chancellor, kind of noting.
Can I with that insight check also ballpark if it's high or low of like?
You can infer that
All
because she's hesitant, it can't be good.
Okay, so more or less than the body that's behind me, and I'm just kind of to the like showing the party, like
The
more or less
Chancellor-
than the people that are sitting next to me.
I don't need to answer your questions. And then Chancellor Lord Somber, Palian, you will answer Kane's questions. She goes, we have lost hundreds.
Well, that's interesting because it only took 5 of us to find almost half of this land, or to track half of this land.
I
And
ask
we're
you
all
again.
still here.
Oh yeah. So you're kind of being attacked on 2 fronts here, Otto.
Okay.
You're kind of getting it from Drogar, and you're kind of getting it
Okay.
from Prelian. Sorry, I remember my own names. Paleon. You're kind of focusing on the wrong.
Oh, am I?
A little bit.
So
but
they're
you're
not
making a
a
good
part of
point.
the same.
Drogar is alone.
So Drogar's alone. Like
Drogar's
Drogar's the
alone.
one that I'm trying to go for here.
Okay.
So why?
Yeah,
You've
Paleon's
been
with us.
asking one of the. You've been talking to the female voice.
No,
is the
all
council
of this
member.
had. Sorry, I must have mistaken that. I thought I was directing everything.
So
to
okay, so sorry, I just
Drogar.
clicked. So you can take all that information and be like, we don't need you to Drogar. Go. That's what you've been saying, right? We don't need your
It's
help.
basically so. All of this has basically been to show it's like your fleet of you
So
know
go ahead and say that
hundreds of
part.
ships, thousands of bodies means nothing if
Yeah.
there's the possibility of us like taking this island ourselves and just minute manning the crap out of
Yeah.
you.
So you kind of had to dig a little bit to pull that information out of the council member, but now you have the information to say
Got
that
it.
to Drogar. And that's where I had the disconnect. So you go.
Okay.
So now what do you
So-
say to Drogar in your kind of final statement?
So with that, I'll just say so you see how powerful 5 of the fleets of what 7, 8, 10 of us did on our first pass. What makes you think that your 800 can hold a candle to ours?
He kind of sits back. As the Chancellor goes, "Thank you, Otto Kane. You may be seated." The council recognizes Hallel. Kal-El, who has had his kind of hand up, kind of stands and goes, "Yes." And he kind of steps into the middle of the ring, nods at Fizbin walking past you. Snakes. I can attest to Otto and his friends here being quite effective. They have resuscitated myself from being encased in stone along with 500 of my own men, many of whom live underneath Dragon's End at this time. They have been quite efficient. And, might I add, in accordance to your claim of ownership of this land, my people, our stories, our histories, gathered and passed down by spoken word, speak of how we were born in this volcano. We were birthed from this lava. If there is anyone who has claim to this island, it is us. And maybe the natives. The natives being cruel. Not you, dear. The natives being vicious, primal, aggressive and manipulative. Abusing their god. And you hear a murmur kind of pass through the room. That's right. Harmony. You don't speak of it in this council, but there is a godling at play on this island. And it has to be addressed. We don't need this dwarf. He needs to pack up his people and go. We own this island. He turns and starts walking back. Sits. And you can see Thranduin, he kind of makes eye contact with you. And you see an anger that has been carefully hidden all this time. And you're not 100% sure what it means. But he goes, maybe the speaker, maybe the prophet of Gent would have something to say on these matters. The Chancellor kind of raises his eyebrow to Thranduin.
He was just trying to, like, stay quiet in the back, just watching, didn't want to get involved, you know, just kind of eyes out for danger, because he's not, despite the title, he's not a great speaker and all of that.
The council recognizes, as you kind of hesitantly stand to your feet, kind of awkwardly, you're looking around, all heads are turning towards you, and it's, you feel it. You have a moment of like, how did I get here? The Chancellor recognizes Thranduin.
Thranduin Windspren. Thranduin Windspren. Just for the Lexus formality.
Dragon Slayer, if you really want to be, you know, whatever. Just from my time with UNT and on our journey across the island, it becomes evident that this place has flourished for countless years without any interference from House Thorn, was it?
House Toil.
House Toil. What did the scroll say that they came?
The scroll said that they came, they tried to establish the island, and then they got smacked by giants. The giants that are no longer around.
Abandoned.
Right.
They full on abandoned, gave up.
That's what I was like wanting to. Your own records say that you claimed and then abandoned the island. So what claim do you possibly have at this point? It's foolishness.
You hear Drogar, and then Chancellor goes, let him finish.
Oh, I had more? Okay.
Sorry. But instead of finishing, you promptly just kind of turn, and you've said your piece. You are not a man of many words. You just kind of sit.
No.
Drogar kind of raises his eyebrow at you and looks about the room. Chancellor says, would anyone else like to say anything? Nutmeg, the halfling, kind of stands up. He goes, yes. Kind of waddles down into the middle area. You are a rube, sir. You think you can come and terrorize my people, the people of which I speak on behalf of, thank you. You are not doing well for good morale. Our people are scared. You come into this place, you mock our church.
Well,
there is no place for you here. We are a democracy. We are for the people. And he slams his tiny little fist down on the table, makes a little knock sound. And those people reject you, sir. We reject you. You're a rube. And he kind of waddles himself back to the table. Venton kind of rolls his eyes. I've said my piece. Drogar kind of looks upset. This is gonna go one of two ways. With your little democracy, you're gonna come together and you're gonna decide on what to do. Which has all sorts of logical flaws, by the way. One of two things is gonna happen. You're gonna bend the knee, and this land will flourish. We will make great discoveries to a homeland that is much closer, able to respond with force. And no one has to get killed. Or you can deny me my simple proposal, and I'll burn this place to the ground. Chancellor
You
kind
could
of
try.
He turns and looks up at you. I'll do it. I'll burn it all to the ground.
And Threnduin's eyes start glowing in a purple light, little flames flickering, and he's gonna stand. I've had enough of you coming here, threatening everything we've built over the past 7 months. The trials we faced, we did not. What is it? A Hydra? Do we?
You slew a dragon.
Yeah, a dragon. But then the thing before that, the basilisk.
Yeah, the basilisk. You've killed a sea serpent. You've killed off a bunch of gnolls. There was the minotaurs, the various natives with their mutatedness. There was a very large insect at one point that tried to eat your face.
Oh, that's right in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brady stabbed a guy.
A drake.
Trident.
Pretty stabbed a guy.
She didn't even lay low for a while.
I'm pretty sure the donkey's dead by now. Like or the goat is dead by now. I'm not giving it. I'm holding up my heart anymore.
He lists all of these things one after the other. To be threatened by you. Come if you may. I'd like to see what happens.
The two of you lock eyes, and he kind of, as you're talking, you kind of loom forward, and he just kind of he gets his hands like white knuckled on the railing looking up at you, and there's just a moment of the two of you just like full eye contact staring at each other, his eyes getting all wild, and eventually
as I talk, the like illusion that I put on my blade that shows like the colors of Fizbin just fade to purple flames to match my eyes, and just can tell that I'm not
There's maybe
having it.
10
He's not okay.
full seconds of silence before Chancellor says,
I can Terrace right next to him and wait for him to look at me.
Drogar kind of,
All eyes on the fawn.
And if you try to lay a single excavation or flame on my islands, I swear that this small creature is more powerful than all of those that they have faced combined.
roll intimidation.
Fizbin just starts chuckling and bursting out in laughter, obviously directed at Drogar.
Would she have advantage if needed because of Thranduin?
I need it.
What'd you get?
Ooh, nat 20.
Oh!
Yes.
Tasty.
And it's a fairy.
Drogar takes a moment and then kind of he seems unsure. He seems unsure. He kind of looks at you. He doesn't know what a fawn is. And you see him kind of backpedal a bit, looks over at the rest of the crowd, who is beginning to laugh at him. And he starts turning like a beet red. And it looks as if he's about to say something when the Chancellor says, "All right, we recess 1 hour." And the room begins chatting and mumbling under their breath with each other and stuff like that. Drogar returns to his seat, kind of steeples his fingers and closes his eyes and just kind of and we'll be right back.
Da, 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 da.
Turn. Okay. George, I need to do that for the rest of the stream tonight. it fuels me.
His little Buffalo Bill
His little-
dance.
do my little dancey dance.
Would you love me?
So the council breaks up into small groups, and you see Nutmeg like clap his hands, and one of his servants brings over like a tray of food, and he just starts eating right there on the spot. Venton kind of goes back to his scroll and marking words and stuff like that. The party has time to kind of go talk to people. Thank you for coming in, Dr. Professor. Go talk to individuals and stuff like that, because there will be a vote on whether or not they bend the knee when the council comes back into session, and the party's interactions and stuff like that will be key in this outcome.
Has been just like at the beginning of the break, just like turns around and kind of gives like a to Tara and Thranduin, like.
Actually, it's not an unsure smile. It's like a like, this is not happening.
Yeah.
My heart is going even faster with that and the coffee.
So what does the party do? Theros kind of ambles over and goes, "Well, that was quite good.
You like that?
Yeah, I think that's going well. I'm concerned about the vote, though. The promise of stability and force might be worth some of these people's freedoms."
It's just the
Well,
easy
they didn't
way
come.
out.
They didn't come over on this trip because they thought it was going to be crazy easy.
True.
I don't think that they're going to just planet a flag only to have it taken away from them.
True. But there's also the impending slaughter that might occur.
I think
They
we
still
lost
have to
enough
get
people.
here. Sorry.
It's fine. I was just gonna say, I think that we lost enough people on the trip here. I don't think that we're gonna have to worry about people not knowing loss.
Don't we have cannons?
You do.
Not all the way around the island, though.
But around Dragon's End, which is where they would want to land, they still need to get here on their boats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the cannons have very much been fortified and aimed well.
Yeah, the problem with that is if we expect them only to take the ports, then that's going to leave our back vulnerable to the land, which they could still trek through. As much as the island will take out enough of them, that means that we're going to have two fronts that we got to fight on.
But the wilderness can buy us time.
For
This is
a
true.
bit, but what do you got planned?
We need to free the giants.
So we're back to that?
That's what got them out of here before.
I know. I haven't really explored that area yet, though.
Tara, do you have other kin on the island?
She does not.
I mean, I haven't seen him. No.
Have you been around the giants? Have you seen what we'd have to do maybe to get them out, or?
What area are the giants in?
So the giants are on the eastern side of the island and throughout the mountains and especially in the north. They have been mostly hill giants left. You haven't heard high or low of any stone giants or fire giants or anything like that, which there used to be cities. You've explored the ruins before with their roaming constructs that used to serve them. Very dangerous place that Otto also would know. But the hill giants are very not incredibly intelligent. They tend to be kind of like, I've got a cave, I've got a stick, let's get some food. And so generally you are seen as a potential snack. But you also know that you've been seeing less and less of them and more natives taking them and capturing them and enslaving them.
Okay. Well, so I'll just relay. I'm pretty good with the north side of the island, but I really don't go that far east. It's not really safe. I haven't seen any of the other ones, but I've been around plenty of their cities. And I don't know, my best idea would probably be to try and follow the natives around. They might know more about it. They're all about hunting and enslaving them, so.
Well, in this moment, what we need to do is just get past this meeting. We need to convince people that this is something we can do, that we don't even maybe need to tell them about freeing the giants, but we just need to convince them that we can fight this and that we've been through worse and we expected to go through worse, and that we're just capable.
From just kind of the overall dynamic that we've seen from this guy, he I mean, he's obviously like kind of a war-hardened dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
But can we kind of get a read on, like, can we take him?
You want
On
to
a
go up
one-on-one
and
scale?
talk to him and make an insight check?
Yeah, maybe. Are we still in recess?
Yes. We'll be in recess for some time.
Yeah, you know what? Let me kind of make my way down there.
Whoa. It's a weird thing to see in chat.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thanks, dog. Is it a picture? I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's a picture.
It is.
Yame, get rid of that, please. That feels cryptic.
It's. I'm not gonna explain it.
I can't tell what it is.
You don't know, you
Oh.
don't need to know. It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
So,
But yeah, so I'm gonna.
So you
I'm just
start-
gonna tell
yeah.
the party. It's like, I'll be back.
okay.
Like,
So Otto goes and it starts approaching Drogar. What are the rest of y'all doing?
I'm
like
gonna
to-
go. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna go talk to the person that I just healed.
The ambassador. Okay. So you start making your way towards the ambassador. Okay. The ambassador is in his seat, still looking very nervous. Drogar is pacing around the table, kind of watching everybody over his shoulder, and he kind of sees as he rounds the table again that the tiefling approaches and kind of puts the table between the two of them and kind of puts his fists on the table and leans forward, raises an eyebrow. Brady, what are you up to?
Brady is going because there's a good crowd here, right?
It's actually, aside from the servants and the helpers, and the employees, it's mostly just the council members, the captain of the guard, Hillel,
Okay.
Theros. But it's relatively closed. There's a bunch of scribes as well. Each council member, each having a copy being made of everything said.
Yeah, I was trying to get an idea of who actually would be voting, and that kind of
That would be the
answers
council
my-
members.
Yeah.
The captain of the guard also has a vote, as well as does Hillel. So that's Lord Somber, Nutmeg, Palion, Venton, Skinna, and Hillel.
Okay. Is there anyone that during this meeting that when we were all talking, is there anyone that might have been displaying signs that maybe they're not feeling too confident in our ability to fight against Drogar and his men?
Sure. Sorry, and Tariff. Tariff also gets a vote. So that's 7. That is something that looks like it's being kept close to the chest, and you'll need to go and discuss with them 1-to-1, or 4-to-1, or however you want to do that. So who would you like to approach first?
Probably start whoever Brady is feeling closest to. So that would either be
That would be Palion,
Pal-
Hillel, Lord Somber, and maybe Tariff.
who is Tariff again? Sorry.
Tariff is the Seeker of the Path. He is the High Monarch of the Church of the Path.
I don't think I want to talk to anyone from the church. Maybe go and talk with Lord Somber.
Okay, so you start making your way over there. Thranduin? Tara?
I guess I'll head over to Hillel.
Okay. Okay, so you make your way towards him. Tara?
Who was it that asked Otto if he was going to help?
That was Palion, the vanguard of the hunt. She is kind of in charge of the scouts and the general growth of, outcropping villages and stuff like that, finding safe locations and the like.
Great. I would love to go talk to her.
Okay, so starting with Otto. And then we'll go in that order. It'll be Otto, Fizbin, Brady, Thranduin, Tara. Otto, his fists are on the table, and he kind of looks at you and raises an eyebrow.
I guess I'm kind of right now in a staring competition with him because I want to see what his patience is like.
Okay. He kind of sits there.
So basically, I'm just like,
Well, let's do this. Let's go.
And I looked at him.
He looked at me.
Eventually, after a good, awkward, tense 40 seconds or so, he kind of goes, "You're well spoken."
And you're a lot of talk and not a lot of action.
Why do you think that is?
I could see a guy who likes to peacock.
You think I need to flaunt about in this democracy when I've got 800 ships?
Well, clearly you haven't done anything.
I'd be giving these people a chance to submit to toil.
Doesn't sound like a guy that's in control.
If I had it my way, boy, I would have just burned the place to the ground. But I've been paid. I've been paid to give y'all a chance. Nothing like having to use starting from the ground up is expensive. Be easier to just take what is ours that has been started by others. You know, he kind of hunkers down. You really are well spoken, and you've got a mind for these kind of things. You don't seem like the kind of type that would get along with most of the people around here.
You said I'd get along with them.
What's your price?
Don't have one.
Oh, that's not true. I
It's,
can see it.
It's not anything that money can buy.
I'm a powerful man. Dwarf.
See, here's the thing. I've been around people like you most of my younger years. And it's really, really hard for me to see how you can justify taking anything that's not yours without there being some kind of consequence at the end of it.
Ain't nobody like me, friend. And I've got the legal standing.
So here's the thing about legal standings is that's just what delusional people use to try to justify their means. Most of us just take what we want.
That's true.
But some of us also have a heart enough to know what others need as well.
And do you have a heart?
Well, I mean, we'll see.
You're like me. You take
Only what I need.
only what you need.
At this point, I'm gonna just kind of... I want it to be inconspicuous enough to possibly just to see if he flinches. Do like a thaumaturgy of a harmless tremor under him.
You begin casting said magic, and you see him harden.
Thaumaturgy is verbal, by the way, so.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So he sees you casting the magic, and he just hardens into it, as if he was about to get, as if he might be about to be tackled by something, and is literally just ready to shoulder check it and take the hit, which says a lot. It says he is committed to not fighting right now, even if it means having a spell cast on him. And the ground begins kind of trembling under him, and you see his eyes like defocus, and you see him reach for something on his belt. And then when nothing happens, he kind of goes, "You're at all smoke and mirrors. If you ever want to be something greater." And that's where he loses you.
Yeah, just yeah.
You
Something
know
greater. Manifest destiny. Got it.
Where to find me. Because
Just
I'm
not
going to
even
be
gonna-
around for some time.
Great. And I'm just gonna walk away.
Okay.
Like I'm not even gonna like acknowledge his last few sentences. Just like, nope, see ya.
Yep.
Just trying to insult whatever he's saying at that last moment.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, kind of
Yeah,
that
nope,
anime
don't care.
cool guy over the shoulder.
Yeah, just pretty much. Nope. See it. Bye.
Fizbin, you approach the ambassador. He kind of looks
He's
up at you.
Yeah, he's sitting down, right?
Yeah. He goes,
Yeah.
"I've never met an Inquisitor. You're always
down on-
talked about."
His rep is just like checking his injuries and stuff.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm okay, honest. What you did earlier was something. I should have brought a cleric with me when I came all those months ago.
Yes, you probably should. And this is probably the last of the Inquisitors that you will ever meet. So,
Let's hope.
how are you feeling? Is your leg better now?
It's I could run if I needed to.
Insight check?
Okay.
Uh, 25? Is there something behind that, or just simply...
He is saying, you get the vibe that, yes, he's telling the truth. He could run if he needed to.
Is he feeling... do I get the sense that he's feeling like he might need to in the near
Yes.
future?
Yes, this is a high stress situation, and sorry, there's a puppy. This is there's a high stress situation, and he is by no means a fighter. He is a fighter. His fight or flight is basically activated, and it's everything you can do to keep from just fleeing. Yeah.
Okay. He'll take a pointed note to like look behind him and check around for all of the Drogar's minions.
Drogar and Otto are having a staring contest. His minions. Okay, make a perception check.
Okay. Oh, pretty good. 22.
Okay. You see basically minimal armed guards. You see a lot of scribes and a couple of lawyery types, but there's one individual that has slipped into the room, and he has that haunted, hollow look about him. And at first you take him to be one of Drogar's men, just because of the door he came in is on that side. A tall, lean, not lean, I apologize. Almost triangle shaped, just really just brawn. And he's got just this almost disfocused look, and he just kind of sweeps through the room. He's not wearing any weapons, but he has plate mail, and he just slowly ends on you. He blinks, and then slowly begins walking around the outside of the room. You kind of keep your eye on him, and eventually he goes and stands behind Lord Somber, who nods at him.
Okay.
And you note Brady heading over to talk to him. You have a moment of concern. Because he screams murderous intent, danger, barely withheld violence.
Okay. He'll finish checking the leg.
And he's a Goliath.
Continue. And he's a Goliath. Oh, good. Good. Is he about as tall as Denki?
That'd be an interesting conversation to have. Yeah, you kind of look at him, and you're like, huh. He's got some of the same bone structure as Denki. Not in the way that might be related, but in the way that makes you question whether Denki's human, or if he's actually a Goliath. Which is not something Denki would know.
I suppose not. Okay. All of that taken in, looks back at finishing up with the leg, does like a very, I don't know, I want to say clerical movements as he begins to like pray over the soul and just making a show of like he's about to continue with the healing of this man. Just kind of places his clawed fingers on his head and massaging his scalp a little bit, and he gets real in close and he goes tell me, young man, do you believe it was the right choice to hire Drogar, your house, that is?
He kind of leans in a little bit. Honestly, sir, I didn't know he was coming. They didn't tell me he was coming. And I'm really glad you're here.
That's all right. That's all right. The question is, now that he is here and you know that he is with your house, do you believe he has the same understanding that there is not to be war between our houses?
Drogar has worked for House Toil for some time. Ever since he was bailed out of your people's prison. That was us. Toil did that, and that's new information to you. He's been working for us ever since, and he's a bit of a mad dog on a leash, but if the pay stops coming, I mean, he's indebted to us. He ultimately won't be happy about it, and he might break a few things on the way out, but he listens to what he's told when it comes to House Toil. I don't know why he's not doing so now. I mean, he's doing so, but he's not listening to me, which is probably what they had in mind when they sent him.
What is your name?
Mateus, sir. Inquisitor, sir.
Mateus, it is probably because you don't have 800 ships behind you that Drogar is not listening to you. But please understand, we are both of the same mind. We both want the same thing between our houses. And I think he might begin to listen to you if he understands that House Thorn and House Ramsay are behind you. I think you need to take this time to breathe, calm down, and know that I am here for you. And the Stormfather. Would you like some water?
Sure, thank you.
Excellent. Very good.
Does that mean you're gonna convince the others to bend the knee?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. They're here and they're not going away. But war is not what any of us want.
Yeah.
For now,
things were going well. This was all going well. We were going to honor the democracy, and he just showed up with new orders.
Well, as far as you know, you didn't get any new orders.
I guess that's true.
If you're the ambassador, would they not have given you some kind of Well, new orders?
Huh. Yeah. I mean, one could argue that if they just didn't tell me, I would be less suspicious. But yeah, they should have. And he starts understanding your plan.
Do you know where the other ambassadors are?
They're on the boat that they were keeping me. I mean, they were on the boat that they were keeping me.
And they are still there?
God, I hope so.
Heed my words. I'm going to go talk to a couple of others in the room. But rest for now.
Oh, here. He hands you an apple.
Oh, why, thank you. And take it and give him a small blessing.
All right.
My next direction will be heading towards Lord Somber and all that.
And we'll get to that. Birdie! You make your way across the hall. Theros is already long since bipped over there and is having some words with the Chancellor. He kind of winks at you and falls to the floor. The Chancellor goes, oh. Milady.
Hello, that was quite quite the meeting, wasn't it?
Yes, it went about as well as can be expected, I think.
I agree. I think you did well holding the order. It's nice to see that didn't get too out of hand.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I do got a question though. Have I seen the Goliath man
Not
before?
yet. He has not yet entered. He has not yet come into your view, or even.
Okay, but in general, like, has he been around?
No.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
I am worried about this vote, though. The promise of force and quickly ending our goals might be a bit appealing to some of the council members.
Who do you think?
I'm not sure. Nutmeg.
As far as I'm concerned, we have this. We
I
can
am not
do
so
this.
sure. Nutmeg. Well, yes. This sounds awful, but I believe in this democracy. And if it has to die to preserve what we believed in, I am willing to make that sacrifice. I am willing to die for what I see as right before I bend the knee to some tyrant who's hired by some other tyrant. But I don't know if everyone would be on the same page. Tariff, as always, is a wild card. Hallel, I think that's pretty clear that he would not. I don't know where Skinner lands, the captain of the guard. Venton, the keeper of the coin, loves his position too much to give it up. But if there were offers made to him last night, I don't know. He is a mind of cogs and wheels and numbers. Nutmeg hates Strogar, and I don't think anything could be said to get around that. I, of course, would never vote to abscond. Palion has been vastly unsuccessful. She has lost many people, and she is concerned for her standing. A Hail Mary such as this might hold appeal to her. She is vastly intelligent, maybe the most clever of us. But sometimes that might affect one's morality.
Then we need to provide her comfort. We clearly have information, and if Otto seems willing to work with us in order to make this happen, that's an advantage for why she would want to stay with us. It'll give her a little redemption.
This is quite possible. It's at this point in time you notice someone right over his shoulder, a very tall Goliath, just staring at you.
Hello. I don't believe we've met, and just kind of gonna be looking at Sombra like, do you see the big man standing behind you?
He goes, "Oh, my apologies. Allow me to introduce you to my son."
Your son?
Yes, say hello, Bombus. Hello. He is clearly deaf. It is nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Brady. And she's gonna make sure that she stays, facing him and not move around too much like she normally would.
He just keeps staring at you. And he signals, "What is wrong?" "Nothing is wrong. I merely decided to join you today." "Well, this is the first time you've ever decided to show interest in my work, son." "Today seemed important. You might finally have need of me." "Son, of course I need you. You are my son, and I've trained you well. But we have Skinner if anything goes amiss. You will not, if things go ugly, you should not fight." "We will see." And they have a moment of father-son love, and just very
So
restrained and
he doesn't necessarily have murderous intent towards an individual, just kind of.
Oh no, he's
in
a killer
general.
through and through. Yeah, it's just not pointed at anyone in particular.
Okay, that's good to know at least.
Yeah.
So.
And he has a number of, what's the word? Intrinsicities? No, I don't. He's awkward. He doesn't seem to fully grasp social standing or social norms or anything like that. Obviously not to his deafness, but there might be something more going on there. Clearly, Somber has gone ahead and made himself his own secret weapon.
Yeah. So based on that conversation, I just want to recap just because there are a lot of names. So
Yes.
basically what Somber believes is that Palian and
Venton.
Venton. Yes. Okay. Those are the two that he is kind of more certain that they might vote to give in.
He's
right?
not certain that any of them would give in, but the people he can't guarantee wouldn't is Palian, Venton, Skinner, the captain of the guard, and Tariff, because he's always a wild card. He's just kind of in it for himself and his church. He doesn't care about democracy in any particular way.
Did anyone say they were going to go talk to Skinner? I can't remember.
No. It's at this time that Fizbin pops up next to you. Fizbin, as you were passing Otto and Drogar, you can hear them quietly having a bit of a growl match between each other, and you just kind of go on by, and you pop next to him. You pop up next to Brady.
Hello.
Hello.
Inquisitor.
Welcome to the conversation. And she's kind of she's now Brady is kind of glancing around. She wants to see where the people that were just mentioned as being potential flippers were,
so
what they were doing.
Pallion is talking to Nutmeg, and they're enjoying some tea together that Nutmeg has had brought over. Venton is at his scroll, continuing to crunch numbers in between the meeting. Tariff is having a letter dictated. Yes, was that everyone? Oh, yeah, Skinna is standing at attention as always.
Okay.
If you decide to go talk to somebody else, we're going to go over to Thranduin. Okay, Thranduin, you approach Hellel, who is sitting there, and he has rolled himself a cigarette, and he offers one to you.
No, thank you.
These things are quite something. I never knew tobacco existed. He lights a match. What can I do for you, Prophet?
What are your numbers?
In the city or as a whole?
As far as military might. I know we freed 500, but how many do you... If there's an attack...
He gestures for you to sit next to him. Kind of leans over and he goes, the Queen has been alerted, and almost our entire force is discreetly on its way. And if I may be frank with you, I would not hide secrets from the Prophet, my own personal savior, as it were. I have been gathering forces throughout the caverns nearby for some time, not with any malicious intent, but just in case something like this went down, and our people, yours and mine, were suddenly in danger and needed to be protected as they fled. Surface dwellers, excuse me, I know you're one of them, but surface dwellers tend to suddenly change. They have these warm-blooded, chaotic mindsets. They don't think clearly. We cold-blooded folk know what we want and pursue it. But you people have so many emotions. Clouding a judgment, not you, I'm sorry, but historically speaking, it's risky. And so I've been training the locals with self-defense in secret and making various outposts, defendable locations if a speedy retreat was needed. I'm glad I did it.
It's good to hear. I don't know who all will vote.
I have no idea. These people don't... They talk to me, but it feels like they're more fascinated by me than interested in me, if you get my meaning.
Right. Well, if all goes well and we don't bend the knee, which is what I'm hoping for, then I'm sure there will be an attack. You need to be ready. I don't think House Toil wants war, but this Drogar character doesn't seem to care either way.
I don't claim to understand the politics of some foreign continent, but I'm just worried about my people. And I like this town. Gent be praised, it's a good people. They want to do this whole democracy thing. I'm interested to see how that goes.
Could be our downfall, but we'll see.
I guess so. Breathes out through the nose.
With the knowledge that his people will be backing us up, I'll Who else hasn't been? Who haven't we talked to yet?
Tariff, Skinna, and then Brady, I think, is making her way over to Palian and Nutmeg. With
Tara was going there as well. What, right?
yes, but we'll get to Tara real quick. So sorry. So you got Venton and Skinna and Tariff. Venton being keeper of the coin on his scroll,
Right.
Skinna being the captain of the guard at attention, and Tariff the probably person who hates you the most.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna. I'll let others deal with him. I'll go to the guard.
Okay. He
Skinna.
is at attention and is looking forward, and you see him. Sorry?
Oh, does he vote as well, or is that
He
not
does
really...
have a vote as council of the guard,
okay.
or sorry, as captain of the guard. So he kind of represents the Endeavor's military, and so his intentions, while obviously are for keeping the town safe, are also representative of Endeavor as a whole, and their military force. So,
What's your take on this whole thing, Captain?
we don't have the numbers. I don't see this going our way. If a battle is fought, we won't last it. It takes too long for reinforcements to arrive from the Endeavor. Can't depend on the Church of the Path and their lackeys, they're untrained brutes. That said, by now, I'm sure there are multiple ships out there that are ours that can't get in, and they are hungry. But we don't know what kind of state they're in and what kind of force they might be able to bring to bear once the cannons start firing, as it were. That said, we have the technological advantage, sir. We have cannons. From what we've been able to ascertain, they have ballista crossbows. They don't have any black powder of any kind, but they've got the numbers, damn it. And those numbers eventually would win in the end. What I think we should do is vote to bend the knee and then simply don't. Wait for our opportunity. Play the dead possum, as it were. And then knife them in the night. Which is not really my way, but I don't see another way around it. But I understand that goes against all the legal precautions. That kind of throws out our diplomatic shenanigans. I don't understand politics. I just know that we will not win this fight.
And what are our numbers here?
We are roughly... there are maybe 5,000 people total in Dragon's End. Maybe 1,000 of them are in fighting condition. Trained warriors.
And
maybe 800 powder monkeys. No, sorry.
we're not
Maybe
alone.
300 powder monkeys. We have a cavalry, though it is small. But we don't have very amiable defenses overall. We have walls, yes, but I had experience fighting the giants in the north in the Endeavor. I've seen battle. True, hard, fierce, bloody. Not a good time. I don't think many of these town folk would know what to do once the cannons started firing. They may get into their houses, they may run out into the woods. By the time the fight is over, we don't have a Dragon's End. We don't have a populace. Even if we won the fight.
We're not alone. We have allies in the UNT.
Your snake folk, sir?
Indeed.
I know you believe you can trust them. And frankly, I have spent some time trying to train them and fortify them. They do not seem to understand any training that I give them at all. I don't know how well we might be able to depend upon them if it gets scrappy. If true war breaks out. Battle, sir. I don't know.
They have their own methods of fighting. But also, they have the tunnels, which spread throughout the island.
This is true. We have not been given access to those tunnels. Only one E1T, have been allowed to go into those tunnels after a certain distance. It's mighty suspicious, but maybe you can do something about that. A quick and fast excavation, a quick and fast route of escape through those tunnels might be just the thing, sir.
I think we have a chance here. We know the island better than they do.
I knew more than most.
I will not stand by and let the endeavor fall to these miscreants. I will fight to the last. And I will not bend the knee.
To the last.
And then I'll kind of grab him by the shoulder and then just kind of move on, and I'll probably
Kind of
just
grabs you back by the shoulder and kind of camaraderie.
and then I'll join. Where's Otto at?
Otto is
Is he still vibing with
yes,
Drogar?
because all these conversations are somewhat happening at the same time.
Right. Okay.
We're nearing the end of his conversation right now. It is at, let's go ahead and say at this time he kind of turns and does his cool guy anime deuces to Drogar, and starts walking away. He catches your eye.
And I'll kind of go over to him to kind of see how that whole thing went.
Okay, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Tara, you kind of do a little skip over to Palion, who is drinking tea with Nutmeg, the halfling.
Hi, I'm Tara.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I am Mistress Palion. Please grab a seat. Grab a seat. She waves, and one of the servants pulls over a seat and kind of extends the table a little bit. And she pulls out this porcelain teacup and begins pouring tea. She's like, "Tell me when," and begins pouring the tea a little bit. The halfling kind of watching from over his little teacup.
As soon once it gets to I don't know, halfway, I'll be like, "Oh, that's good."
Excellent.
And then the way that I get into a chair, because I'm not used to chairs, is I fully climb up with my little fawn legs. I just sit down fully in the chair.
Aren't you just a treat? Look at you. Look at her. Yes, look at her. An interesting individual. I've never seen one of your kind. And she goes, "Sugar? Milk?"
Yes.
Oh. One sugar cube looks at you questioningly. Two
I
sugar
like sugar
cubes.
a lot.
3 sugar cubes?
That's good. I can tell by your faces.
Well, and cream. She pour and whether or not you take it, she pours it or does not. And you have tea. It's delightful. It is peppermint.
Wow, this is wonderful.
Yes, I grow it myself.
Oh, that's so talented. I would love to talk about that sometime.
Oh yes, you'll have to come visit my gardens.
Oh, I love gardens. Actually, I just wanted to say, I don't know, I'm from the island here, and I wanted to apologize. I heard that you've lost a lot of scouts in the island.
Halfling looks over at the human, and she kind of. We have been met with quite a lot of setbacks.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad out there. I just kind of, well, what exactly are you scouting for?
My dear, we are to expand. That is the nature of civilization. She pulls out a flask and puts some in it. Puts some in the halfling's mix and kind of hands it off to you. Liquor.
Sure.
It doesn't taste great.
I'll try it because you guys are having it.
She puts a little bit of liquor in there, and kind of puts the flask away and looks about. Eventually, this land, this immediate area, will be insufficient for the growth of this town, Dragon's End. And so we need to find new locations where it's safe to build more civilization. Dig wells. Have roads. Defendable locations.
But you don't mean to, like, what that guy was talking about, burn everything down, do you?
Oh, no, darling. And she kind of, like, puts a hand on your hand. No. Of course not.
Okay.
We
Well,
intend to let our children grow. Schools, teaching them. Fire departments, putting out fires.
I'm totally on board with putting out fires. If you need any help, I would love to offer my services
Truly,
to help you guys navigate around here. I know quite a bit.
that would be such help. Come to me later. Anytime you need 'em. And she kind of indicates where she lives in town. And you tell the butler that I said, yes, the one with the hooves.
Okay.
So you
Thank
grew
you
up
for
on
the
this
tea.
island? Oh, okay. At this time, Brady and Fizbin walk up.
Oh, well, then right before they walk up, I just want to be like, in return for the tea and for hopefully keeping this island healthy and whole and not ablaze. This is the beauty that this island can hold. Just make sure that you take care of it.
My word. This is a beautiful stone.
Mm-hmm.
What have you handed her?
I have handed her not my favorite one, but definitely a higher up one that I found. It's a jewel that you'll most commonly find in an area of a river where it's been really clean and really pure minerals have come through and have gathered in one area where there's an eddy. And so it has swirls of blue and flakes of
that is
river
beautiful.
rock and everything in there.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
She goes, like an angel. Beautiful. I'll have it set into one of my necklaces.
Oh,
You look at her like giant beehive of hair that's put up. She's got darker skin, and so she's got kind of the coarser hair that she's got in this beautiful array. And you see her like begin thinking about her various adornments and where she might put it when Brady and Fizbin approach.
Hi guys, do you want to try this tea? I'm gonna take a sip and be like, Birdie, do you want this tea?
Oh, sure. Just kind of seeing her face being like, I guess I'll take that from you. And just kind of like goes to sip it and just sniffs it and goes, Alien, you have the good stuff.
Darling, you know I have the good stuff.
Like, good stuff.
I think it's him. I don't think it's what they put in the tea.
The good stuff is sugar, not this.
Speaking of sugar, Tara, you do start to feel a drooping.
Oh no, okay.
That sugar's starting to wear off.
Oh,
You've consumed a lot of it.
She's gonna pass out.
You do start to feel a little bit of the beginnings of the crash, but we'll get to that. Brittany, darling, it has been a while since we've had lunch. The last time I saw you, you looked so tired, almost sickly. You look much better now. I assume good things have transpired since?
Oh yes, I was just having the worst nightmares.
Oh.
Just unexplained, not really about any particular thing, just random, and she's just gonna be sipping on the tea. Like,
Oh,
she's
dear.
like, I've started meditating in the mornings with the sunrise, and you know what? Ever since I've been sleeping a little bit better.
Well, that's very good to hear, darling. She kind of does the thing where she holds your hand as well. Inquisitor, allow me. I'm so sorry. Allow me to introduce to you Nutmeg. Hello. Before you is a very portly halfling, and
Yes.
who is on his like 4th cup of tea, and has produced some scones. And he goes, "Would you like a scone?"
Indubitably.
Excellent. They're magnificently. They're so good. These are the cream of the scone. And he begins just tearing into his 3rd scone.
Instant points. And if this was an RPG, they'd be like neutral to friendly just instantaneously between Fizbin and Numeg.
Nutmeg, you always have the best snacks around. And the
Indeed.
best recommendations.
Indeed. And though I do say, we've never had time to get lunch or anything of the like. You must come for brunch sometime. Forgot
Oh,
he
I
was
love
Scottish.
brunch.
Excellent.
We'll definitely have to do that.
Well, once all of this hubbub is over, we must catch up.
Definitely. So, I was curious though. How are you guys feeling about this whole thing? It's a bit tense.
Indeed it is. My word. I certainly hope it goes well. In our favor for democracy and the people. And he says to Palion. And Palion goes, "Yes, the outcome of this is quite important. To say the least." Kind of looks down into her tea. Takes a hearty sip.
Radie is going to place her hand on hers now and just give it a gentle squeeze and be like, you have been working so hard. And you're up against something that you're doing incredible for what you're up against. So just know that we appreciate everything you've been doing and the direction you've been giving everyone. Hopefully, now that Otto is back, he'll be able to help you further if that is something that you would want. He has information that even we don't know yet. He's been living there.
She looks over at Terra. That would be quite helpful.
So hopefully once things hopefully go for the people, we can continue what you've already started and make progress with Terra and Otto's help.
Your words encourage me.
Yeah, and she's just gonna like bring her into a gentle hug and like rub her back and be like, "You've done good. You've done good."
We'll be okay. Right, Inquisitor?
It normally is, as long as we have the will of the storm, Father.
She kind of gives you a... Okay. But you hear just a... It might have been a cough. It might have been a snicker from Nutmeg. And you don't know if that was towards your god or if it was towards her reaction. But you may make an insight check.
A slow turn. Oh my guy. That's a 28.
Okay. You kind
I've
of...
made 3 rolls today. They have been a 17, an 18, and a 19. Like they... Okay.
You kind of look at him and you see various regalia now that you're really looking of the Church of the Path.
Neutral.
All right. Anything else you guys want to say before we go to Otto and Thranduin?
There's something you wanted to say, Nutmeg. You don't agree?
Well,
Oh no.
no disrespect to you, good sir, Lord Inquisitor. And while I very much do not dispute that your god is very powerful and real, most real, I have been a long time believer in my faith, as I'm sure you are very devout to your faith. I guarantee you I feel just as serious about my own.
That is normally how faith works, yes? However, not everyone has the proper upbringings or learnings as they grow up. And that's okay.
This is true.
It's all right.
I was blessed to be able to. And he starts going on about the privilege he happened to grow up in and stuff like that. And he finally just starts rambling about his wonderful home. You
Was he
notice.
lying?
Feel free to make an insight check.
I would love to make an insight.
For everyone watching to catch up, this is Briddy's confirmed connection with that Nutmeg is actually a member of the Held Breath.
20.
20. He has the right attire. He has the right mannerisms. It seems legit. He actually does look like he comes from nobility and wealth. You don't know how he ended up here. This assumedly frontier land, suddenly very important island that has the whole of 2 different continents' attention right now. But he is basking in it.
Okay.
Fizbin doesn't care whether or not he's telling the truth. He's just letting him talk.
Yeah. Eventually he starts talking about his home, the architecture, and even Palian begins just kind of focusing on her tea and just kind of bored. You know, the only one really still kind of focused on Nutmeg is Briddy, kind of tunnel visioning in on him. But Fizbin, you note Thranduin and Otto are coming together to have a conversation.
Is he talking directly at me or just in the group in general?
No, he's literally just rambling, like he loves himself so much, can't stop listening to himself talk as he just starts drinking tea. And he actually surprisingly cracks open chopsticks and a bowl of rice and starts just as he talks.
Good, yes. Yeah, impressive, yes.
The party does eventually kind of politely excuse themselves, and they all kind of huddle back together in the center of the room. And as you guys kind of group back up, there's Denki. Denki also, who has been thoroughly confused by everything going on.
That's fine. It's okay. He'll get some cheeseburgers when we get out of here.
Baco burgers?
What we call it here?
Spankle burgers?
Spackle burgers.
Spackle
Baco
burgers.
burgers.
Spackle burgers.
So the party comes back together. Otto and Thranduin. Say it again, Jake. I'm sorry.
I said, Otto, what do you have to say?
Not much, and it doesn't look like he's gonna, unless we can swing some form of honor here. I think that he's actually a lot more restricted with what he can do than he's letting on right now.
So do you think if we don't bend the knee, he won't attack immediately?
I don't think that he's allowed to do anything without given permission just yet. Otherwise, he would have definitely been willing to just scorch earth. I mean, he's talking about wanting to use our lands as, building blocks for whatever he wants to build on top of it. But honestly, he's showing a lot more resistance than he's letting on, and I don't think that he's the one that's holding all the power here.
So we may have some time.
A little bit. What'd you get?
Well, the Yuan-Ti are behind us, and so is the captain. What did you all find out? We're all together again, right?
Yes.
You said? Let's address the party as a whole.
Oh, the giant guy next to Somber, that's his son. I just need to say that. Do you guys see how big he is? He is a scary dude.
At that,
Oh no.
At that, sorry.
Standing right behind
My
you.
back to him. My back is to him.
What's naked guy's name? I'm sorry.
Danky.
Danky. I was stuck on Spanky.
Different character entirely.
Danky kind of.
That's his brother. We're gonna find out about in season 3.
Danky goes big. Whoa.
Oh.
He's big. Bigger.
Yeah, you're bigger, buddy.
The rest of you are like, maybe.
Brittany's gonna like pat Danky and be like, yeah,
keep
yeah.
Danky happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Like, you got this,
on
bud.
the inside, it's evenly matched.
Bigger in heart, maybe.
I want them to have the Full Metal Alchemist.
That's exactly where I'm going with this. I mean, maybe it could all go horribly. I mean, that's
See, you
up to
went
y'all.
muscle guys from Full Metal Alchemist. I'm thinking Deadpool, Juggernaut, and Colossus CGI fight.
I mean,
No,
we'll see.
instantly
We'll see.
I heard, this has been in the Armstrong family, the Danky family,
My
for
God.
generations.
His half-worn shirt just rips off.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sparkles.
Steve Bloom.
Anyways,
I do want to know, this is Haley speaking, but who did you say might have been paid off? Was it Benton?
Yes.
Right? That Somberhead? I'm going to relay that information as well as what I've learned in general about who potentially could vote to bend the knee. Thranduin, you spoke with Skinna. What's your final thought there?
Well, he's doubtful, but I think I've convinced him to not bend the knee.
How'd you do that?
Well, we have allies here. We have the knowledge of the island.
Haven't you always had that?
Well,
we already had that. We had to get here too and figure it out.
I'm saying, what allies are you talking about?
the Yuan-Ti haven't previously allowed access
Terra.
to the tunnels below.
And your brief conversation has convinced him that after months of them not allowing it, that it's going to happen after this meeting.
Yeah, well, there's something else that he or you don't know just yet.
I don't know a lot of things about this area. I'm just listening to what you're saying, and I'm not sure I'm fully convinced that you have convinced the captain of the guard to vote in our favor. Think with your military brain. It only makes sense to give up or surrender or to fight another day. We can't win this. What did you say to him to convince him that he can win this fight?
Well, since I don't remember exactly what I said, I'll just
So
relay
you-
the information that I
Sure.
said to save time.
You
And
relayed that you are able to leverage your status amongst the snake folk to allow a potential retreat into the very fortified tunnels if needed.
Mm-hmm. Which is all wonderful, but let's also keep in mind that he didn't really sound pleased at the thought of how good they are in combat. You can, if you really truly believe that he will vote in our favor, that
So
all right,
he also knows, and he didn't say this to the captain of the guard, Skinna, but he did learn from Hillel that Hillel has been training them very well, and he's able to garner that the methods from Skinna were bouncing off of them, but also that might have been a feint.
Which is totally fine. That's
Yeah.
great.
That's
But
why I
like
told him to have their
Thranduin
own-
knows that.
Yeah.
I told him they have their own methods of fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have their
And
own
so,
techniques.
Yeah.
Is what I said. So like,
Not this is not a high intelligence conversation from
He's
my
not
character.
opposed
This is
to
the
it. He's-
this is a wisdom of like, I'm glad that you think that that's what you said to him, but we can't be, there has to be like certainty in the vote, and I'm not really sure that there's gonna be. That's basically what he's trying to address.
So Fizbin is showing concern,
Yeah.
continued concern.
to be honest, this whole thing isn't really I'm not all for this talking and political nonsense. If you want to go talk to him, be my guest. But as far as my conversation went, he seemed to the last man standing to fight.
I'll take your word for it. Perhaps we should divert our efforts somewhere else, to someone else that we think is less likely to vote in our favor. Is there anyone else here?
Somber mentioned Venton potentially maybe being paid off last night. I didn't get much out of it. I didn't want to pry too much, but that could be a wild card.
And Tariff.
I think Paulian. I think Paulian might vote with us, especially because Tara and Otto have so much information now that would make her expeditions so much more successful.
You think she's going to trust the man who disappeared for months?
He has knowledge. And
That he has not given her for months. Think about this.
He's been gone obtaining that knowledge for the past 6 months.
For her? Or for himself?
For himself, but now he has it regardless. And he can share it
Also
now.
offered to help.
He
And
did
I've been
today,
here a lot
yes.
more than 6 months.
Yeah.
He just got back, yesterday? You got back yesterday?
Pretty much.
To warn us of this entire situation. So
Yeah.
and
She
all
doesn't
things
know
considered-
that.
All things considered, when she does find out, it's looking pretty good. Why did you bring us along if you're not going to even trust in our decisions? And what
I
we're
brought you along
accomplishing?
so that I would trust your decisions, and that I'm not going against it. I am simply playing devil's advocate so that you know what you're going up against.
Well, in the end, we can't speak for them. We can only relay how we feel the conversation went. But you spoke with the ambassador.
Yes.
How did that conversation go? Is he okay?
He is all right, but he is also scared. It is exactly as I thought, and I'm sure, as you are all aware, just looking at Drogar, he is not everything he seems to be. He is the brutal mercenary that we all remember him being, and yes, there are some things he is hiding. And yes, if push comes to shove, he will fight. But luckily, he's not part of the vote. So, what I have gleaned from him is that everything we've already known. We just have to be prepared for the worst if the vote does not go in his favor.
Well,
So you also learned that the other ambassadors, are being held on the boat.
Ah, yes. Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll relay that to you guys as well.
That's kind of what I was trying to. I'm like,
Sorry.
tell us about the captured people. No.
Right. I'll relay that as well to you guys. I almost forgot. Why did I forget about that? Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't. It's like different conversation point of time, but yeah.
I don't feel like we can trust
Nope.
him no matter what. I feel like Drogar's going to do what he wants to do. Whether we agree, it's not going to be a peaceful handling of our people.
He doesn't even handle his own ambassadors peacefully.
To be honest, hearing what you were saying about how our captain of the military is saying, hey, let's just take a knee and then backstab them, what's to say that they're not going to do the same? Once we become compliant, they could absolutely just demilitarize us before we have any plan of attack.
That is a definite risk.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like no matter what, we're in trouble. So either we all prepare to fight or we go in blind and surrender and get blindsided.
Not necessarily. And at that point, I'm gonna Otto's looking for the Snake Prince.
Okay. Hillel is rolling himself another cigarette.
How far away is he, and is he
He's
in private company?
He is in private company.
Okay. Just gotta head over to him real quick.
Okay.
while the
Tara,
rest
were you
discuss.
saying something? Okay.
I was just adding to what Birdie was saying. Something.
From what I remember, you told me that when you first arrived, there was resistance from the island. Yes?
The natives. Yeah.
Many ships were lost trying to come onto the land.
Gravitational forces brought to bear.
Skinner is aware of this, yes?
Yeah, he would be aware of that.
Then perhaps your best chances would be to fight. Because it is not just necessarily him that he has to, or his forces and the E1T working together. It's also the island fighting against them.
So angry how you can just say that word E1T without hiccuping or stuttering.
The first time I tried.
Yeah, that was,
E1T?
I hate that. I hate that so
E1T.
much.
E1T.
It's not like for a whole season we were saying it differently, but
So Otto has now walked away from this,
Okay.
right? Is that that's what happened?
He's
Okay.
approached Hillel.
Okay. And that tiefling said that he was resisting, right? There's something about he didn't want to start a war now, correct?
Mm-hmm. Which would give us time to plan.
That does not sound like Drogar at all. Normally he would just be rash. Has been some time since I've seen him. Maybe something's learned, or maybe something is more... certainly Drogar's not more afraid of something now than...
He has what you... Go ahead and make a history check. As you kind of process everything that the party has learned.
That's a nat 1.
oh,
4.
After boasting
I'll give you this.
about your last
It's a bell curve.
five.
It's a bell curve.
I'll give you this. He is much more tactical. He has become crafty. Whereas he used to be brazen and reckless, now he is brazen and efficient. He's obviously
That's
playing
scary.
some game here. He has a lot of cards still close to his chest.
Mm-hmm.
What that could possibly be, you don't know.
Two ambassadors at least.
Speaking of,
Is there more to that, or
sorry, never mind.
I was like, speaking of.
I thought we were gonna. Sorry, never mind. Hello. Otto.
Yeah. I was like, where are we going with this?
They walk in. No, I'm kidding.
Da-da-da-da-da. All right. Yeah, so I'm walking up to fellow the E1T, and just doing the usual greetings. I'm sure in like at least a few times I've utilized their help on messing around with Theros.
There might have been the occasion that you've had to duck into the under places.
Yeah, probably. If only for me to, Groundhog's Day 'em. or just not Groundhog's Day. What movie am I thinking of?
I don't know. I'm not your brain. I'm not your last brain cell dancing around
with
in a
Bill Murray and the Groundhog.
That's Groundhog Day.
No, there's another one.
Oh.
Anyways, you've
Anyways.
been in the
Golfing.
tunnels.
Anyways, I was in a. Yeah.
I got nothing,
Kenny
bro.
Loggins was playing. Sorry.
I
So
got nothing. He dips his head at you
Hollow.
and offers you a cigarette.
Caddyshack. Thank you so much.
Nice, Dr. Professor clutching it. And thank you for the follow.
You. I was going to go mad.
He offers you a cigarette.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Okay. He lights it for you and lights one of his own.
And then on top of that, like, so I've got a question for you.
Yes.
You know the fire creatures that we, Jimmy,
Johnny.
Johnny.
Jimmy John, helped you fight.
He
when
was
we first came to the
very
island?
helpful. It was a pivotal fight. We were low on manpower, and he made quite the difference.
How many usually come out of that thing?
The creatures.
Yeah. If not fought back.
We have never failed. I'm not many hordes of the things. We have to cave in tunnels and bottleneck them, and fight them back into their lava. Why do you ask?
How often do they come out?
Annually.
Any way to possibly accelerate that?
To what end?
And I will, like, because I do trust him, to the extent of, like, you know, at least knowing that he doesn't want the island to be overrun anymore, that I'm going to confide in him a little bit of the plan. It's like, well, what if we bottlenecked them in the right direction and used them as artillery against this invading force?
He kind of leans back. There's a flaw in that idea. In that, the more of them that arise, the more active the volcano becomes. And that would mean the death of every individual in most every cavern and tunnel.
But what if we were able to put a tap on it? Be able to put out a current flow of our choosing and aim them in the direction of whatever ship we wanted to throw them at.
I don't know. It would be incredibly dangerous. But
because we know they want to fight, and we know that they're at least enough of a threat, if not taken care of. So if we use that as a faucet to go ahead and just blow each individual ship out of its place from where we're at right now, we'd at least have a protective barrier, and we can always cut off the funnel when needed.
I will confer with my singers, our lore keepers.
Because if the more of the island we can throw at them, the less we have to do.
Yes, yes. I will get back to you on that. It's an
All right.
interesting proposition.
Keep it in mind.
Reckless.
Let me
I
know.
like it, but that would be dancing on the line of disaster, to say the least.
I mean, it's that or the extinction of everyone on this island for another colonization.
I don't know. I know the Queen probably would not, my sister, would probably not be very keen. At the least, we'd have to move our home to be certain of its safety.
Small price to pay for a temporary fix.
Small price to pay, but you consider that our options are rather limited as to where to put those people aside from here, which would further expose us to the people of Dragon's End and the Endeavor. But
But what would be worse, migrating your people or finding a place to bury the rest of the bodies?
I agree with you, but that is a most reckless option. Surely hopefully there are other ways to resolve this. But
Yeah, and I'm not saying
I
that there
will
aren't other
confer-
ways.
I will confer with the laws and the singers.
Okay.
You walk back to the group, and he looks most troubled.
Didn't go well.
Well, I mean, would I look troubled?
No. Sorry. Hallel looks troubled.
Oh. So wait. Who's going to what group?
You were returning to the party.
Correct.
That's
and then he's
and
like,
and
okay.
Hallel looks troubled as you leave him.
So they see him, like I'm like, okay, all right, I got it.
Thranduin, what were you saying?
I'm gonna go over to Hallel again, just to confirm.
You guys
What did
high
he
five
say?
on the way past.
What did he say?
Tag out.
Yeah.
Was he talking about me? I gotta go to the
did he
confessional
say?
booth. I gotta talk about this.
Right this way.
Thranduin.
Oh, sorry. That's more of the Church of the Path, isn't it?
A little bit.
Dragons.
He kinda
and
looks up to you and goes,
real world.
Prophet.
I have a proposition borderlining on request.
I do love to quest.
If the need should arise, the people of Dragon's End may need to evacuate into the caverns. And if we are to repel these invaders, we are going to need to work together completely.
Agreed.
So any traditional surfacers cannot come into our caverns because of, I'm sure I would have learned reasons of why over the 6-month period.
Oh, it's not been cultural. It's just been like, these are ours.
Okay. Well, in that case, it's even okay. Any selfish right to claiming this land or the caverns as your own should be set aside.
Make a persuasion check at advantage.
While he does that, how's Somber's son looking?
The same. He's just at this point he's just really staring at Drogar, and you can see
Okay.
he just
That's
you
fine.
get the vibe that he's never been in a proper fight, and
Oh,
he
no.
would like to be.
Oh, great.
And that there's some dead animals.
Like he's
behind
just
the
been
house.
training all his life dead animals behind the house.
Might be
18.
a couple
Okay.
of kids in the basement.
18. He kind of looks up to you and then kind of sags under the pressure of your gaze. He goes, "You're right, of course. My sister will kill me, but it is the only reasonable conclusion. We are allies. Dragon's End's democracy and council and ourselves. I get a vote here at this table, so I would stand up to my sister if I need to in this regard. Yes, you have my support and permission. I'll even walk you through the caverns and show you the fortifications that we have put into motion."
Thank you.
Yes, sir. What do you think Gent thinks about all this?
Gent. I feel like the more bloodshed, the better for him. But if it would ultimately delay his freedom, then I think he would be against it. So we should avoid war if possible. But if it comes to that, we need to be able to defend ourselves.
Are there any tricks up our sleeves? Any things we could do that would help this? Any I don't know. Any small things.
I don't know. If we could figure out the magic that smashed our boats coming in, that'd be pretty handy.
Say again.
If we could figure out the magic that smashed our boats coming in here 6 months ago, that would be...
That would be the natives' neck of the woods.
Yeah. Do they have any maps of the caverns? Have they mapped that out, or is that all just like something they committed to memory?
Yeah, it's just something they... I mean, there might be by now, because they've had to spread out from their volcano. There might be a few maps necessary.
And Thranduin himself would have some kind of understanding.
And Brady, having passed through the tunnels and making maps along the way.
Okay. So with the two of us, we could potentially get people to at least relative safety if they needed a guide. But... All right. I'll thank him again and head back to the party. I've convinced him to allow those of Dragon's End to enter the caverns, which have been fortified.
Nice. This is good.
So we have fortification. So even if this does end in the beginning of a war, we can evacuate our people.
We have the technological advantage with our cannons.
And not only that, but we have the island that we can use it as a weapon as well. For a multitude of reasons.
This is all saying that the vote goes in our direction.
No, this is all saying if the vote doesn't go in our direction.
As in we get attacked.
As in this starts.
Well, it could also not go in our direction and suddenly we're kneeling and letting them in for free.
That's definitely not what we want. But on top of that, you said that there's people on a boat.
The ambassadors.
Yes.
Are being.
You mean the people that we
held.
really should be talking to right now?
Essentially, I mean, there's a reason he took them out of the equation.
Yeah, and maybe that equation should be reevaluated.
Isn't that a little weird? Did the council just not notice that?
No, they definitely. It was one of the first things they brought up. Not tonight, not this time.
When they first came on.
Yeah, it would probably still be addressed when recess is over.
And how much time do we got in recess still?
You got roughly. I mean, all of this has been like 5 minutes.
Right.
Oh, we got time.
You got a bit of time. You got some wiggle room.
Maybe we should. I hear there's a lovely spackle hut down the way. Maybe we should go get something to eat. Maybe check out the ports. And, maybe liberate some ambassadors. I don't know. Just lighthearted things that we could do.
As far as the boat that they're on.
Probably Drogar's
They're on
own.
a lot of them.
Probably Drogar's own boat. Which was information I meant to give to George from the ambassador.
Red card.
I'd get it from the ambassador afterwards anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is the best idea I've heard yet.
Okay.
I'm all for freeing people.
I know.
You have that on a foot pedal.
I do.
That's amazing. I want one. It'd be so great to just have a sling of pedals. have a wraparound.
So nice, just to all of a sudden become a sentient being. Anytime that I want.
All right, well,
They're
I
not
think we'll call
sentient
it there.
normally?
No,
And with the
I'm very
understanding
insentient.
that we'll pick up
Okay.
next time with a little clocked, a little raid on a boat on the clock, as it were. That would be quite an episode. Oh my God.